Okay, something got your attention. And you're covered in fur, so you can take the cold in short bouts. Hey guys, Max from Max's Models here. I'm going to open up with the models I got for Christmas. This is the Westland Whirlwind Mark I from Airfix. And this kit says it was made in France. So I do know that Airfix has a lot of their stuff done in India now, but they've also had it done in other parts of Europe. This kit apparently came out in this box art came out in '97. The kit's been around much longer, and this is probably a 1997 or later reissue. The kit itself dates back to the '60s, I believe. In fact, I think they even had a 1958 version, which pretty much looks like the same kit. That was a bag kit. And what you get, of course, is in the later ones, of course, there's the legal document in multiple languages about, don't use until you've read the instructions, usual legal stuff. But we have decal sheet for at least 2 different squadrons. This one looks to be in good shape. By the way, there's also a Westland Whirlwind helicopter, not to be confused with this kit. The kit number here is what they call Series 2, and the kit number 02064, labeled as a level 1 kit. So basically, pretty straightforward. You have, of course, 2-piece wings, top and bottom. It does come with a pilot figure and a canopy and 2 sides there. Everything, the markings look fine to me. All of the rivet lines and stuff all look quite good for the scale. No problems there. They are raised, but it's such a tiny scale you can't really tell unless you run your hand over it. And of course, you have you make it wheels up or wheels down. One of the blade tips did get bent just a little bit. I think I'm going to put this at the head of the line, up there with put it on my desk as one of the models. In fact, I think I'm going to do that with all 3 of the models I got for Christmas. Not really sure why. I do need to go ahead and wash these, though, of course, in case there's any release agent on them. Amazing how well that stuff sticks. Well, let me go to the next model. We'll be back in just a second. This is also from TD. This is the Heller Helldiver, and this is the Curtiss SBC-4 Helldiver. Curtiss had a series of pretty successful biplanes in the interwar period. This one, a bit more complicated obviously than the Westwind because just the nature of being a biplane, there's just more parts to it. And of course the 2-piece wings, again, everything looks to be in good register. No complaint about the surface texture. This kit, I believe, was first molds cut probably around 1980, although this is a mid to late 1970s issue, judging by the box art. And as you can tell, it was a retractable gear biplane. And the Helldiver has a pretty interesting history. I think what I might do now, this kit's been started. I found little bits of sandpaper, so apparently TD had already started fitting some of the parts. So that'll make life a little easier for me. And it comes with French markings and British markings. Don't think I have any French aircraft actual in the collection. I did have a Dewatine at one point, but I gave that to my nephew many years ago. It sat on his shelf for years. It's since been lost to the ages. Wasn't a great build. So I might do this in French colors just to sort of, broaden out the collection. And of course, you can see some of the stuff, the wings and everything had already been removed, but looks like it should be a very straightforward build, although biplanes are always a little tricky. And this of course has a fairly complex and very small greenhouse canopy, so I'll have to figure out how I want to approach that. Masking, for me personally, masking off something this small is just all but impossible. I'll probably hand paint it with an acrylic and then etch off any overrun or something. And I know a lot of people, when they deal with this scale, they just don't even bother to mask off the canopies. They just build a nice model, put the canopy on it, and let their imagination do the rest. Whatever makes you happy. Remember, it's all about enjoying the modeling experience. I'll probably make this wheels down, but we'll see. And it'll look good on the shelf. It really will. And now on to the next model. Okay, so here we have the AMT Supernatural Metallic Baby, the 67 four-door hardtop Impala. We have our chrome parts, and the bumper and all the grill is just one big chrome part. Let's take a look at that. Okay, here we are with the chrome. The grill and bumper, one big chrome piece. That should make things a little easier. We have to scratch out what's the pockets for the light so the glue will adhere. And of course the same for the rear. It looks like they left the middle tail light in there, which is white on the 67 Impala, if memory serves me right. And they got a few chrome parts of the engine. But all in all, nice. A lot to work with. I will probably etch out the little bits of chrome in there and dab in a little white paint just to make it more accurate. I have the big die cast one, but not one in this scale that will fit on the shelf, and not one that I built myself, so I'm looking forward to it. I had thought about buying this kit several times, but I just couldn't justify it with, since we already had the big die cast one and the figures that went with it. But Ken gave me this. He said his wife thought of me, and then he was like, yep, that's a perfect gift, and he was right. Let's look at some other parts. Of course, everything's individually bagged, which is nice, but here we have the rubber tires, and I've learned generally to boil these things before I put them on to soften the rubber so they go on more easily. And let's see what's next. Okay, we have the clear components, rear window, front windshield, spotlights, tail lights, and which are red, of course, headlamps. So all of this I've already talked about how I'm going to have to mount that. So I'm going to leave these in the plastic so they don't get scratched up. They're pretty straightforward AMT parts. Okay, here we have the body, chassis, and floor pan. Each of them is one piece. Of course, it's molded in black, so if you're a kid who doesn't have any paint, you can just build the model and it'll look decent on the shelf. Of course, I'm going to have to paint this and paint the trim on it and everything. But nice molding, looks good. The only things that should have to be painted on here besides the black body, of course, are the trim pieces here and the door handles. I don't see too much else. It looks like it'll have to be touched up. And let's look at the rest of the components. Well, here's your standard instruction system for AMT, and this is mostly the engine parts. This is one of two bags. You'll notice that you have two separate parts of the exhaust system, and one of them seems to have the mufflers and the other seems to have what looks like some sort of pre-muffler. I'm not entirely sure what that is. I'm going to have to do a little car research. I do know that the car in the show had an extremely, depending on which car you're talking about, they had about 8 of them. But the Hero car had this gigantic, I think 427, made a lot of noise. It might have had an enhanced muffler system. But I'm sure some of you car guys are telling me what that is right now, so educate me. Now let's look what's in the other bag. Alright, the other bag has the interior parts, the seats, the hood, door liners, and as I recall, the car had sort of a buckskin color on the interior, although I believe the seats were black, and it might have been a buckskin dash. I have to go back and look. Fortunately, there's a ton of resources online for Baby, and that's pretty much the kit. There is a decal sheet, so let's take a look at that. This is a Devil Trap. It is from the show, it's these guys run around hunting demons and stuff. The name of the show was Supernatural. And they have a couple of different license plates because sometimes they travel various license plates to hide who they were. It's got, of course, the dashboard decal and the markings for the inside of the trunk with the Devil Trap, which was, what they used. When they locked a demon in the trunk, they had these markings that would keep them trapped in there. So that's the AMT Supernatural Impala, and these 3 kits are going to go on the top of the build queue along with the Betty and the P38, the Tamiya P38. Well, that's what we have for Christmas Day. Who knows, might even get a little styrene time in today. Take care of yourselves, guys, and as always, model on. I just noticed that TD had labeled the colors to go. Here's cockpit green, and of course the Mae West would be yellow, the sort of a chocolate color for the boots, flesh color for the hands, black for the visor, sort of a looks like beige cream for the helmet. And that's finished. That'll make pre-painting this a lot easier. Don't have to do my research. It's been done for me. Thank you, TD. Don't get any better vented than that. I just realized that this airplane, you have to cut the one-piece doors in half to make it wheels down. And the airplane looks so sleek wheels up, and it looks so ungainly wheels down. So there's the wheels down. It really breaks up the lines, but it looks so sleek wheels up that I think I'm going to make it wheels up. And I have plenty of extra stands, so I think that's how I'm going to go, wheels up.